Okay, you unmuted me. Yeah, it had said that you were muted by the organizer, so
Right.
I'm good.
Finally. And I think Layla just got on and then maybe just try to fix something too. So um, sorry about all that.
That's
Uh,
okay. Stuff happens.
it does. And it's 2 weeks in a row and we thought we had it fixed and we missed a computer and all that jazz. So we had to then do the same thing on a new computer. So
You know,
um,
once you get it up and running, though, you'll always know how to do it.
exactly. Exactly. So let's just get started. I think it's 10:05 and I think from, I guess, the technical difficulties in last week, it's probably, you know, we've kind of had some people coming in and go, so that's our fault. So we'll do what we can to fix that. Today is, I guess, a good day, and hopefully we can kind of reset the mindset of everybody in the group and then get focused. It's summer's ending, so it's a perfect timing to kind of reset some of our goals and what we learned from those 3 days, and kind of had time to let that process, let kind of get back into life, so to speak, and kind of have those challenges, and hopefully you can still feel the same and where you want to go and what you want to do. And today's just a real quick exercise, kind of to revisit our blueprint, revisit our kind of our vivid vision, and kind of understand where we want to go. The first step today is the most important. It's kind of it starts the journey off, and then just staying consistent and focus, as we flush out what we want to do in 3 years. And hopefully, Joanne, you've been, and Layla, and the group, and because we're going to send this out for everybody, that over the last 3 or 4 weeks, as you face those challenges, and then you want to kind of understand where you want to go and make sure that those are being written down, and we're flushing out that process, and really creating that vivid vision. So I think it's a perfect timing. September is, or August, and summer's coming to an end, so we get to kick off probably the first 3 months, and the most important stuff is really getting that vivid vision really flushed out and put to paper. So today's exercise is really just based around the first, and I guess the important part is the money. I know money doesn't drive everything, but it does solve a lot of issues. And today the exercise is just kind of creating that financial picture, and it's we'll focus on that only, and then every week we'll build on that. There's by no, I guess the importance of that is one, but also we've got to build a culture of understanding, a culture of what we want to do and how we want to do it to give back, and creating that is definitely very important as well. But I think creating that, the financial goal is really help solve a lot of those questions. So it's really 6 different questions. And Joanna, we can probably just have it, and Layla, just I guess a couple quick questions for you, Joanne. From my notes, though, I guess I don't think I have from you from what if you were going to, I guess, yeah, I do have a note. So you're in Massachusetts and you want to start a practice.
No, I'm in New Jersey.
Okay. My notes are wrong. So you're in New Jersey, and then you're a professor, and you're still, your initial goal set was to go ahead and start your practice. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. And I think 9 out of pretty much everybody at the seminar is in that same boat. So so we're looking out 3 years. So in 36 months, and you can write it down or you can send it to us, but I think you really got to know how much money you're trying to make. So put a low end, a middle, and a high. So write that number down. If you want to text it to me, Joanne, that'd be great. Anybody else on here, you want to text it to me or send me an email, that'd be great as well, so we can kind of get that understanding. And as we do that, we're going to back in a couple of the key questions. So I always talk about a work balanced life. So it's very important that we keep that, because we can't be successful in one if we're not balanced in every part of our life. So we got to make sure that question is answered. So how much money do we want to make, right? Let's write that down. How many days a week we want to work. That's extremely important. And then what are the hours of those days that you want to work? Is it in the morning? Is it at the night? Weekends. We got to really focus on what that is, so we can then back into the financial part of how much it is a year. So and then the other one is a start date. Joanne, have you started, or have you thought through that on when you actually want to go ahead and start, like actually seeing patients as a
Well,
private?
I had gone through and filled out the clear performance goals on
Awesome.
the Google Drive.
Okay.
And so I have all of this information that you're asking for is in there.
Awesome.
I'm looking at it now instead of
Okay. Do you want to
on
share that and then I'll
here.
pull it up? Can you
Oh,
share it with me or?
I thought it was automatically shared. Okay, let me
Okay.
go back. I'll go in right now.
Julie, but hold on one second. I'm going to pull it up. So
Okay.
why don't you kind of go through it and we can talk through on just, let's start with that if you have those answers.
Okay, so I started, I guess you have to let me know if it is shared with you because I'm seeing a screen. I thought it was, but whatever.
It probably is. Hold on. We're going to pull it up. But go
Okay.
ahead.
So I started out really small as far as monetary. I stuck 60,000 in to start, and that was just because I didn't come up with a magic number. It was strictly, I knew how much time I would have to devote to the year 1819, because to me, because of school, everything starts in September. That's my new year, September.
Right.
Um,
Gotcha.
so I set up the 3-year plan for 1819, 1920, and 20 to 21. And I know based on what I worked on after we met initially, I went through my schedule. I went to work. I sort of revamped stuff. I got permissions and did all sorts of things so that I could carve out some time because I work right now. I work 65 hours a week at the university. So that's not possible to add any more hours for myself for private practice.
Okay.
So I went through and tried to modify that, took those hours, multiplied it by the rate that we talked about at the conference, and that's how I came up with 60. No magical way other than that. Is that where I'd want to end up? No.
Right. No,
I,
right.
I mean, if we're talking pie in the sky, which doesn't mean it's not possible, I understand. But, in the best of all possible worlds, yeah, I'd like to earn $300,000. There you
Right.
go. I
Yep.
have an actual number. But that would not be possible with teaching and a private practice because there are not enough hours in a week. So my ultimate goal to get to that, what to me seems like a ginormous number for just little old me, is it would be not only how to build a business, but it would be changing what I'm doing. And I don't really know if at what point I would be ready to say, I don't want to teach anymore
Right.
because I killed myself to be able to teach, to get my doctorate to teach. So it seems my family doesn't want me to do it, but it seems because it takes because of 65 hours a week. I mean, at my age, I should not be working 65 hours a week.
Right.
So I understand their point, but I worked really hard to do this and I'm not emotionally ready to let it go completely. So
Okay.
that will be the second half of my process. But I can't start that process unless I start my business. And I'm
Right.
clear on that. So
Okay.
so that's why the number is very small compared to where it needs to end up.
Okay. No, that sounds great.
More than you wanted to know, probably.
No, not at all. This is awesome. This actually really helps for me to help you and kind of maybe establish or give you some, some advice. I guess if I could just ask you a couple more questions. So,
Sure.
um, what time frame are you looking to kind of make that transition? And I guess is it basically a dollar swap that you're maybe using that as your first answer? I guess are we trying to replace enough income where it makes it okay? Is that, I'm trying to get in your head and understand when you think that decision could happen.
You mean to go past just like part-time? Is that what you mean?
Yes, exactly.
No, I think it really has to do with how fed up I get
Okay.
with the administration, which is also making me crazy over the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
So that pushes. I don't think anyone should really start something because they're forced to do it.
Right.
And some days, like yesterday, I really felt like I was being forced to build this because I am so upset about what's happening at the school.
Okay.
But it's so much of an emotional response, which is not the way to build a business. I understand that. So I need to separate it. I don't know. I think I need to see, I mean, I think I'd like you to look at it because I think that it's a very clear, sort of a roadmap,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
and that it,
Yes.
that it
Yep.
could work. And I
Yep.
think if I saw some progress and success with this, it would make the other a little more clearer as well.
Right. No,
You
I
know.
totally makes sense. And I'm looking at it now and reviewing it. So yeah, it
Oh,
was
so you
great.
do
I
have
think you did
access to it.
yeah,
Good.
a great.
Um, so I will be having a decision to make as far as do I apply for a different position within the university, probably in the next 6 months or so, maybe less. And I would want to have this moving so that I would be able to make that decision more easily. I don't want to jump further into the deep end at the university if this is going to work and this will be my main goal.
Right. No, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, so I have a time issue as well.
And I guess a lot of those questions, I guess you're saying, which is right, time will flush some of those out.
Exactly.
Um, and I think, I think these 2018-19 goals are great, and I think they're very detailed, very focused. And I think, you know, it, it's really just again putting that plan in place
Hmm.
and helping you go and accomplish those every week to week. And I think this is a great start for you. And I think you're kind of asking those questions, and
Okay.
the more questions you ask yourself, kind of goes you're trying to figure that at work, and you're going to try to figure out in this new world and this practice, and that will continue this kind of process of question answer, and I think you'll come to a decision,
Hmm.
one way or the other, or it might be both, which might be a perfect fit as well,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
which is great. So, and I guess in your area, it's 150 an hour, right? Or probably maybe you might be able to probably.
Well,
I don't
so I was a little bit uncertain. I know down all the way by me, so I'm in central. I'm like where the inside of the elbow is in New Jersey.
Okay.
And that is a little less, like maybe 120 or so, 120 to 150, just depending on where you end up hitting. Um, but because I work primarily up north in North Jersey, and I would be going in that area rather than drive again from where I am living. It tolerates the 150, 155. I have a friend who's in Wayne, which is a little bit further north than I'm going to go, and that's 160.
Okay.
So we're not that far off from what we talked about at the conference.
Right.
Um, I based it on the 150 when I did my calculations.
Okay. Great.
I figured I shot it, whatever.
Right. Exactly. Yep. No, and then so you have Monday 4 hours and Tuesday, Thursday 4 hours from 5 to 7.
Right.
So
And I don't know if that's wonderful. I don't have enough experience to know if that's where it should be, but that's really all at this point I could carve out that was obvious, you know, without someone saying to me, oh no, I need to be seen at 8 o'clock. Can you do that? That doesn't mean I can't do it. I just, I had to pick something to put on the piece of paper.
no, I agree. I think I wouldn't change this, especially with the balance you need with work and home. I think
Hmm.
I would not get in the game of chasing clients for sure. I would set
Yeah.
your schedule and stay hard on that schedule, because
Okay. Okay.
everybody will ask. Everybody will say, because everybody has a schedule too, and they have a
Mhm.
million things going on, and they'll say 8 or 9, and then they might cancel on you. So I would definitely not change your schedule. I would
Okay.
do it and be a hard, fast rule that my schedule is my schedule, and it will fill up. And the first thing people do is change their schedule or accommodate, and
Mhm.
it's a it's a race of nowhere. It's not a good one, so because it never ends, and then you're reactive and not
Yeah,
proactive.
right. I'd rather be proactive.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And what's
yeah.
unfortunate is that because of semesters, I'm going to, like, I need to set this up because I'm going to have to fight for this schedule at the university in the spring.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I'll be successful because it goes by order of seniority. But that's my goal, to
Okay.
try and get some consistency. So again, there's other factors. I'm sure everybody has factors working against them.
Right.
These are my factors that are working
Yep.
against me.
Yep. Just challenges, but that's, so when do you think you can start those schedule, or when would you like to start the schedule?
You're going to crack up when I tell you what is stopping me from having already started the schedule. Are you
Okay.
ready? This
Yeah.
is so stupid. Okay. I wish you really, it's so stupid. I can't get a name.
Okay.
Every name that me and my family, or my family and I, have come up with has been taken.
Okay.
It is so discouraging. And it's so stupid, but and someone said to me, well, just start it without the name. But it goes with the marketing materials that I need from you guys.
Right.
And aside from that, it's a psychological thing. I need to know this is the thing.
Right.
This is like an entity. This is beyond just me. This is my plan. This is my goal. So the name is it's stupid. I know, but it's tied to it.
That makes sense. Do we have a couple names? Have we narrowed it down to 3 or 4 yet, or where are we on?
Every single one I've come up with is already taken.
When you say taking the URL?
Because the one I wanted, which is what Julie has, which I was reluctant to give her because I hadn't done a search for it yet, was Beyond Words. And that was my absolute favorite. That's what I wanted. And I could see it in my head. And then turns out it was everywhere. And I don't know enough about how it works because we're also global without really being global. I'm not going to go to Wisconsin to do this, but
Right.
You search and it's there.
Right.
It's not the way it was when I was in my 20s and started a business.
Right.
So I know it's so dumb, but I don't know what to do.
Well, let's see if we can kind of take some of the challenges away. So they're all gone. So do we have a new group, or do we have a new list as of right now?
Right now, today I had to look up More Than Speech, and I was looking at Speak Well, but what shows up is public speaking. So
Okay.
that didn't really work well.
Okay.
And I don't know, I could open another window and try. So I go to sleep thinking about names. It's the stupidest thing ever.
I love it. No, it makes sense.
I'm obsessed.
Just to give you a little bit of, I guess, I mean, I totally get it, and I totally understand of a name, and it's, it is important. But nowadays, the URL, I mean, you can still use all those words and just put them everywhere on your Facebook, on your website. You can put them everywhere, and you can still use that branding and marketing in every piece that you have. URL nowadays, it's kind of, they're hyperlinked, they're connected. It's not as important as it once was before, because people just usually search, the myofunctional, and then that would come up, and then they would hit a direct link into the website, the Facebook. We're finding our website traffic is not nearly as visited as our funnels that we build, or our Facebook or social media. It's really the social media and the Facebook become your website, because the life that we live in now, it's very dynamic, and websites are very static now. And if you're not updating them daily, it becomes irrelevant. And the way Google does the SEO and all this stuff, it's just not it's just not a good, I guess, way, of people reaching out to. So I think, I get you, and I understand that the name we got to get to, and hopefully we can maybe put a date today on when you guys can flush that out, so we can kind of move forward. And then, but I think your Facebook and your social, your Instagram and any social that you do is more important. And I think you probably can get some of that stuff and use it as a tag, or use it as a hashtag, or.
Now on every website, they're called tabs or tags, and so she can put myofunctional therapy, she can put everything, and then it really doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah. So Julie, I don't know if you heard.
Where I was searching, I mean, I searched the regular web when I would look for a name, and I'd get hits around the country, but it was Facebook that was my undoing, because I would search in Facebook and there would be all the names that I had chosen.
Oh, jeez.
The one thing
I knew that from when we had met, 2 weeks ago or whatever, 3 weeks. that's where I needed to make sure that I was checking. So I started with there, and it was just awful. I mean, it's everywhere. There's so many. It makes you look like you shouldn't be doing this because it's flooded.
Oh, really? It's enough. That's great.
People can start their own practices without patenting it though. So on Facebook, you can create a business page that says.
Yeah, you can just. But I think she just wants to be unique. I think you're trying to be. But
my name doesn't work. Let's face it. There's nothing about my name that you could tie to a company. Like I think it was Jennifer in our group. It was called Douglas something because her last name was Douglas. So it's nice and short, you know.
Right.
But Christodoulou just doesn't inspire anything, you know.
Let's see. Yeah, I agree. So, but you know the brand, and all your favorite. I don't know, all your favorite brands that you use or restaurants that you use or do. The name is usually behind the service, behind the value add, behind the people. And that's going to be you, and you're going to create and sell that in a community. And I think the tools that you're going to be building on are, I don't think the name is going to build and create you and kind of from a search, So I wouldn't put the world, everything in that basket, trying to come up with the greatest name, because I promise you, if you had the greatest name on earth and then you put it together, the traffic that you still get will be like, very small,
Okay.
But I totally get it and understand it. Jay was the same way. I was always hounding on some of this stuff, like just go, let's go, let's go. It's holding us up, and there's a balance there. So I see that. So let's today.
How did you come up with your name?
For Simon Says it was actually Jay's had that for a while. Her last name is Simon. So,
yes. Yeah. I have a friend who's the one I was telling about in Wayne, and her last name is Moore with 2 O's. And so her company is Talk More with 2 O's.
Right.
I mean, but my Christodoulou just doesn't work.
Well, if you want to just shoot Julie and I, and just when you're noodling, just send them to us. Don't even think about it. Just just send them to us, or you have my cell phone. Just text me like the ones you're noodling, and I'll tell you yay, nay, or move on, or that's good, or
you'll get this random text of just these words.
Yeah, that's fine. But we can also do steps 2 and 3 on the schedule, at least. I think.
Okay. Absolutely.
I think, I don't know where you are on Square, but I would strongly suggest with your work schedule and your, how busy you are, that using Square to handling all your scheduling, it would keep your life a lot more organized on that side of the business. And it's easy to accept, decline, and, that's all you do.
Okay.
And Julie and we can help do that real quick and build that based on your schedule now that you have in your CPGs.
All right.
And then I would, let's just say is a week, let's say, I mean, next Wednesday might be too fast for you, but the following Wednesday, is that fair to say that a name and a URL and all that?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not a procrastination thing because it's a daily thing here at this house.
Okay. No, but you got to make a decision now. So that's a procrastination. So we could go forever. So how about 2 weeks? How about that?
Stupid name. I mean, we could call it that at this point. We can't find a name speech.
This is the balance. Yes. There's no such thing as perfection. So, is it 2 weeks fair? Is that cool?
Absolutely,
yes. Stressing you out?
Yes, without stressing me out.
Okay, we'll just say 2 weeks, and then we'll build Julie and I will build the back end for Square based on that Monday. What hours on Monday did you want though?
It was really, I don't know. Do you have a sense of like the most popular times? Does Jay know that? Just because we've done it long enough?
In our research, I mean, it's definitely, the school lets out, I don't know what time they let out, but usually within a half hour, 45 minutes after when school lets out, because, they come right from school usually. And that's, the busiest hours are probably 4 to 8. And then if she's tied up with a ortho or a dentist, then basically whatever times those are during the day, the patient would get seen both, through the dentist, ortho, and then would step over and see you. So that's her
So,
next busiest slot.
right. So my thought was that the Tuesday and Thursday would be more of the actual child, because remember
Yep.
when we talked about it, it was don't rent a place, go to their facility or their home. So and remember, it's not near me where I'm doing this. It's
Right.
near my work. So
Right.
Monday I don't go in. I don't work at the university on Monday. So I do
Okay.
have more flexibility, and that's why I put the 4 hours. So
Okay.
if it was felt that at the orthodontist or the dentist that the 4 hours would be like, where are their hours? If I spent the 4 hours on Tuesday and Thursday doing it at their house, then the 4 hours on the Monday would be the orthodontist. Are
Right.
those the same 4 to 8? Or I don't know if my orthodontist wasn't open at 8 o'clock at night.
No, definitely not. The Jay's is her last patient, whether she's using that or not, but they're up to they're pretty late, and I don't know why, but she uses their facility, so I don't know if they're have a 4 o'clock and then they come see her at 5, or the 5 is the last patient and then she sees them at 6. But her last patient usually is at 7 and sometimes on 8. Nah, she has a key. So I have to ask her that. That's a good question.
Right. So I would actually go by her experience for the Monday time, because I'm more flexible, and I mean, we could change it in the end if we have to, but
okay. Yep. I'll ask her for that. And then you have one day, Wednesday, 1 hour.
Wednesday, which is for the adults, right?
Okay.
And then that second line about the adults tied into my questions at the bottom. Did you see that list over here? That was really for, these are questions for Jay that pick up.
The questions or the to-dos? Where am I looking?
All the way at the bottom. The last thing is the questions.
Okay, gotcha.
Those were things that I had thought of. We had spoken about it in person, and these were as a result of that conversation. Now I had these questions.
Okay.
So if we could pass those to her, maybe she could answer those.
Yep.
And then that would guide what happens on that Wednesday.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
But my thought was, because you wanted me to think bigger than just the moment.
Right.
The Wednesday, I thought that would be the easiest place and time for me to hire a person to help me.
Right.
So that we could either expand that, or I could then go do, tongue tips or whatever in Short Hills, while the person, because where I live is the retirement area.
Right.
So I could then separate myself, and I have 2 people who would probably help. So.
Okay, that's great. And I think without getting, I guess, too far off the path, but I think, the goal of getting from 60 to 300, in, 3 to 5 years, depending on what that looks like, I think you are correct. You're going to have to think, because from what I understand, we don't want to add another 40 hours, or we don't want to add another 10 hours. We want 65 to become 35 and then maximize the rest.
Exactly. Now, true. I mean, if you take 40 hours and multiply it out, and let's pretend that it was all
billable.
Exactly. Thank you. It does work out to be, or very close.
Right.
But that's not sane. I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah. No, I think you have all the skill sets and the tools and the knowledge of where you want to go. And I think getting there is really just going to be staying focused and keeping the energy there. And then as soon as, we get there, we'll just kind of move it a little bit farther. But I think getting there at 300,000 and having a small practice and then working 30 to 35 hours, I think that's extremely doable. And I think it's going to be a fun project for both of us, and I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
Oh, so you'll watch me implode? Is that it?
Well, I have to tell you, we'll all implode, believe me. And that's where we need our community and our help to rebuild, because there's no doubt about it. It won't be easy. Like I said, it's a full contact sport. You need to be a gladiator to get there. But everything you've done today, you've done it. So it's just refocusing a little bit of that into a new process and a new vision. That's it. So and we've seen it done with Jay and her practice and, other people on that path. We have one girl right now. She's a school teacher, and I don't think she'll be a school teacher much longer, because
Mhm.
this summer, she's been just packed, and,
Mhm.
she's making more money probably already working that one day or 2 days with Jay than she probably makes, if you annualize it for, the 2 days that she's working and what she's making.
The same number in 2 months as she does the whole year.
Right. Is that what she said?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. And then, and Jay's going to do, so just to give you a little bit backdrop on the format, we're going to send it out. So we're going to have, our calls will be weekly, but Jay's going to do 2 calls a month as well, roundtables. And, she's going to have a lot of people on there, different folks from orthos to people in the space. And we're hoping that platform works and kind of does a lot of that Q&A on the clinical side, which would be great. And then we'll just obviously video it and then send it to everybody who can't make it. So it'll be cool. So, okay, so let's just recap. I understand we're trying to do the 60 to 300. We have the constraints of, the work, currently working 65 hours. But I think, I know you have a clear direction, and I think time will flush that out. And, I think as those questions or those answers will definitely come to you over the next month, 2 month, 3 months while you start building this private practice. The first two key takeaways is you got to get a name. So 2 weeks, I guess, is kind of the goal for that. And then our takeaway for Julie and I will go and we'll build the square in the background. And then I guess just really a start date on that. When you want to go live with that would be the other question. I guess we need locations, and we'll have questions for you that we'll send to you.
Okay. I was going to say, because there's actually, before I can determine that, it's sort of on, I need stuff from you, because I'll need the list of who I'm supposed to contact in that area.
Yep.
And then I need to I have the picture, I could write the bio, I have bios I could just pull up. I was just waiting for the name to put it all together.
Okay.
So I can pass that to Julie so that she can do the materials. What else do I need to go to people?
I think I sent an inner circle email out, and on the bottom it says, like, if you're interested in Square, please send me this information. It's like bam, 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 bam. And it's just location, address, just kind of the general information. I'll re-forward it to you, so it'll just be the top of your email.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. Just if it's NA, just, if you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the location is moving, right?
Yeah, it's right now. Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people in the inner circle that just don't even put their location, and it just has like a disclaimer at the top saying, like, I can come to you, or whatever your general direction of how you're meeting clients is.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, so there'll be a list, just send that back, and then we can get you going.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so I think this is a great start, and I think, we have 2 homework assignments, and then, next Wednesday, is this time good for you, or is it?
Only next Wednesday. After that, we'll go back to school.
And then we can figure out, me and you could, maybe find some time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have what my schedule is, and obviously you can see the work schedule is what I'm anticipating. I still have to set all that up. So I realize it's sort of a soft schedule, because I'm assuming that I'll be able to set up those locations on Wednesdays at whatever I said, 10 o'clock.
Right.
So, but based on what that would be, then the Wednesday morning early, I certainly could meet.
Okay. Yeah, and I can schedule time inside that schedule too, so I'll know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because you'll see it, right?
Yep. Perfect. Yep.
So I know you said it's like what, 10%, 1%. If you give me this list of people to contact in that area, what's the percentage that I should anticipate success? Are there statistics for it?
Yeah, so it's 3% is kind of the number that everybody uses, and the data that's coming back is always 3%. It's 3%. Whether you're buying if I have a room of 100 people, buying a
Mhm.
refrigerator, buying a home, buying tires, buying a laptop, buying myofunctional therapy, there's going to be 3% in there that are buying. The other 7% are thinking about it. The other 25% on that is, they're kind of heard about it, but the timing's not right. And then the other ones have not heard about it, but they might need the service. And so it takes, a little bit. So we're trying to move them up the funnel.
Right.
But some people are just not buying, and there's nothing you could do to sell them, or the timing's not right. It's just not possible. So we have to create a nurture campaign with your orthos and your dentists in the surrounding areas, and then
Mhm.
do a kind of like a little guerrilla marketing to all your friends and your peers, and letting people know that you're starting this practice, and um, you're starting. So we have to nurture them. So the 3% is true, but it still takes a good 60 to 120 days to kind of start nurturing people.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So
Okay.
you want to go from unless there's unless you have an ortho that just all of a sudden says, I'm on board and let's go,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then they start feeding you clients, which could very much happen for sure.
Right.
So, um, I would see, you would get your the first couple patients probably, I would say by October for sure, you know?
Right. Okay. So I'm just anticipating if it's a long, I understand the nurturing part. So if it's a 2-month phase, I'm worrying that my schedule would change again.
And
That's
then,
all.
and then we just change it. We just go right into the
Yeah.
back end and change it. Yep.
Okay. All right.
So, yep. And Jay changes her schedule all the time, and it actually links and with your whatever your scheduler that you have. I don't know if you use Google Calendar or whatever it is. Um, so if she changes her Google Calendar, whether it's a personal event or a work event or whatever, it automatically takes it out of the inventory in Square, so they
Okay.
can't schedule at that time.
Okay.
Um,
So I won't have a conflict that way. Okay.
Nope. And then if you wanted to add times later, you could just add them back in, or add a day, or of a click of a button. So that's
Mhm.
why I think that when they want to go by too, they want to see a schedule. They don't want to make a phone call and then wait for the phone call back or whatever. They just want to fill it out. And then, the conversion rate of them doing that is a lot higher than the phone calls as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially since I'm hard to get a hold of to begin with. So
right.
I
Exactly.
don't want to frustrate anybody. We want everybody to be happy. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's this step takes that away, and it manages it nicely.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, any other questions that you have
No, I guess you're gonna send me something to ask me towns to look in and stuff like that?
for the zip codes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So I have your general area in New Jersey, but if you want to send the zip codes that you want since you're going to a different area, those are the ones that I would
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll
yeah,
look at a
Perfect.
map and I'll see how far everything is because I want to make sure I can actually be where I'm supposed to be.
exactly.
Um, I don't want to misrepresent myself.
How far are you from home to the university?
An hour if I don't hit traffic.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm looking like 20 minutes from the university, assuming I'll hit traffic, which means it'll be 30 minutes to 45, leaving enough room to get from point A to point B, work there, and then come the hour and a half home because it is further. But the demographics in that area would support more than where I am.
Right. So I guess one question you want to think about is the ride home a lot of traffic at that time?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So it might be, I don't, so it might be worth seeing the patients by the university and then leaving at 7. I would think the traffic's a little bit less at 7, 7:30, but
Well,
then you,
that's why I set it up. Let me go back to my list. That's why I thought if I was doing it from 5 to 7, it might work
okay. Yeah,
on
exactly.
Tuesday and
Yep.
Thursday. Yeah. So I'll get home by 8:30.
Right.
I mean, this is not what anybody really wants to do, but this is what has to be done. So
Exactly. Yep.
I'm clear on how to sacrifice.
All right. Yeah, I love it. Okay. Any other questions? And then before we kind of wrap it up and then get,
No, I think that's it.
okay.
Um, if so, I will get you that information. I'll get Julie the zip codes. I'll get the name to you. What else do I have to do? I should write this down.
We'll just work right off the clear performance. Just put the date on your the company name. I guess it's really on your bottom left. It's
Oh, here it is. Yeah. Right.
to-dos.
Yeah, because once I have that, then I can, all those other things fall
you
into
can
place.
start knocking out the other stuff. So hopefully you get it quicker than 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
we'll hold you accountable to 2 weeks.
Right, but I meant,
Let's pick a name.
exactly. In the end, it could be, I could come up with it tomorrow. You never know.
And you
And
can
then
always
and
change it. I
everything.
mean, you can do your LLC and, now, and you can do whatever name, and you can change it later if you think of something later, but,
Mhm, mhm.
but
Well, that's what we ran into because I went to start the LLC, and later on I do want to add a partner. I already know that. So that part was okay, but we got stuck
right,
on the business name
right,
box. So we had to stop, and then
right.
I got frustrated. But I would like to have this all in place. I start school September 4th. So in my mind, this needs to be an entity into itself so that I can then start the same day I start school,
I like it. I agree. That's awesome. Yep.
you know. So that's
Yep.
why 2 weeks doesn't throw me off.
Right.
That's fine.
All right.
That's
So 1 week.
fine. Okay.
You have my
Okay.
cell phone number?
I don't think so. Let me
Okay.
find an actual old-fashioned pen. Okay. Here we go. All right, go ahead.
It's 240
Uh-huh.
460-6078.
Okay.
And then just, text or, call or whatever. And if I miss you, I'll call you back. But as you come up with those names and you have any questions, just, send them our way.
Okay.
We'll
There's, aside from looking at Facebook, which is where my undoing is, and doing the general search, is there a website that you like to check for business names specifically, like so that there's no problems later, or you just do what I'm doing?
Yeah, I think that's, yeah. I mean, the
Okay.
URL, obviously, if you think you want the URL, GoDaddy is, easy and,
Okay.
quick. Wix does it. But just do the searches for them, and then, as they come up, see what comes up, and, because you definitely want, but it's SEO, and it really depends on what you're searching. So,
Okay.
I'm a big believer in driving my traffic, and I don't, the name is, while, it's important, it's not going to drive you traffic.
Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And then the website thing was Wix that we had gone over. Is that what
Exactly.
you guys use?
Yep.
So I can make it look sort of like yours without copying it?
Yep. Yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. All
Yep.
right.
So,
Again, it's a busy 2 weeks.
yep. And then we're on for next week, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Next week is fine.
Okay. And if you have any other questions, just shoot them our way this week.
Okay. I will.
I'm
This has been
excited.
great.
It's
Thank
going
you
to be
so
fun.
much. I hope so.
Yeah, it will be. It's going to be.
Not
It'll
too
be fun.
painful.
It'll be hard, but it'll be fun.
It's worth it. It's
It
worth
is
it.
worth it. I think you, in 3 years, 4 years, I think you can reach it for sure. For sure. No doubt about it. So. Well, awesome. I guess have a great weekend, or what's today, Wednesday? So have a
Yep.
great
Rest of the
week
week.
and then weekend. And, give us a shout when you can.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much.
Great stuff here. Awesome job.
Okay, so take care.
All right. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Can you do it? I don't know.
It's like closing out a tab.
That's fun.